Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first say compliments of the season. You are all welcome. You are all welcome to tonight's professional development workshop. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, which is being put together by the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management. Good evening. I welcome us all to this evening's lecture. And I am Olayemi Thomas, and I'm privileged to be your moderator for this evening. And I would very much like to appreciate the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Relations Management, the National Project Coordinator of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management in the person of Mrs. Tessie Christopher Ikechi. Also appreciating the management and staff of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management. And of course, thanking everyone for this opportunity and privilege to be the moderator this evening. You're all welcome to this evening's lecture. And so we go straight to the lecture. And of course, our theme for this workshop is strategic talent management, which is about attracting, developing, and retaining high performance people for business results. And the topic for this evening would be managing people for results. And to take us on this evening's topic would be a very distinguished personality in the person of Dr. Kemi Abaye, as PhD, FIMC, CMC, FITA. And so I introduce us to Dr. Kemi Abaye. Dr. Kemi Abaye is an accomplished HR strategist with extensive experience in performance management, learning and development, and organizational effectiveness. She specializes in enabling HR professionals and line managers to translate people strategy into measurable business results. She has successfully facilitated workshops, stakeholder fora, and executive level HR interventions across private and public sectors, focusing on building accountability, ownership, and results-driven HR systems. With respectfully, I would very much introduce us, and as I welcome Dr. Kemi Abaye. You're most welcome, madam. And I would be handing over to her as she takes over for the lecture for this evening. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Kemi Abaye. You're welcome, ma.
Good evening, ma. Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Okay. I hope you can hear me.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you, madam.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you.
Everyone. Good evening, HR professionals. Good evening, HR professionals in the house.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma.
I want to appreciate you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, madam. You are welcome.
Sir, good evening, Mas. Good evening,
You
sir.
are welcome here.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. God bless you all. And compliments of the season to every one of us. Thank you so much. I want to appreciate the coordinator, Madam Tessie, and indeed the entire council and management of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management for the opportunity to facilitate learning this evening. I want to commend every one of us. It's been a very beautiful year, a landmark year it has been for us from January to date. And this is the last workshop, last program for the year, last training for the year, the December MCL, mandatory continuous learning. Kudos to all of us and welcome to this evening's presentation. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. And together we'll learn. Together we'll unlearn, we'll relearn, and acquire necessary skills to become top-notch HR professionals that we already are and be able to deliver on our mandates as HR practitioners. Thank you so much once again. I'm glad to be here. Thank you. So, I'd like to share my screen. Ma, please, can you make me a co-host so I can share my screen? Hello, Ma.
I share your screen. You're a co-host now.
Okay. Please, can you see my screen?
But we need you to put it on slide.
Yes,
we can.
yes.
See your screen.
We are not seeing your screen.
Yes, it's okay now.
But I'm sharing already, sir.
It's okay now.
We can see it.
Okay, the screen is visible. We can see it.
Thank you.
You can see the screen now.
Very clearly now.
Okay, very, thank you, very well. Okay, that's it. Okay. So once again, good evening, HR professionals, and welcome to the Cihrm December Professional Development Workshop. You are all welcome, and the title of our paper today is Managing People for Results. And we want to look at the strategic imperative for HR professionals. Now, by the end of this presentation, we all should be able to reframe managing people for results as a systemic HR responsibility, apply the AOR model as a diagnostic and design tool, align HR systems to drive ownership, accountability, and results, and commit to one actionable HR intervention for immediate application. When I say immediate application, something you will apply within the next 30 days. An actionable HR intervention that will be applicable within the next 30 days. So let's start. This particular session is designed to equip HR professionals with practical frameworks and tools to diagnose people performance gaps, redesign HR interventions, and deliver measurable organizational results through effective people management. The session intends to strengthen HR professionals' capacity to translate people's strategy into measurable performance results through structured diagnosis, accountability, and result-driven HR interventions. If I may ask us, what is the one word, what's that one word, just one word that best describes your current feelings about managing people for results? Let's take some opinion. Just give me one word that best describes your feelings, how you feel about managing people for results. Is it interesting? Is it complex? Is it challenging? Is it overwhelming? What is that one word? Maybe 1, 2, 3 of us can unmute quickly. Just let's say something to ourselves. What is that one?
Overwhelming.
Oh, it's overwhelming. Okay, thank you, Ma.
It is tasking.
Very demanding.
Very
challenging.
It is challenging.
Tasking. Okay.
It's complex.
Very challenging.
Very challenging, tasking, overwhelming,
Complex.
demanding, complex. Really? Okay.
Very demanding.
You said what?
Demanding.
It is demanding, of course.
Breathtaking.
Breathtaking. Wow. Okay. All right. Nobody has told me that it's exciting.
Herculean task.
It
is exciting.
stressful. Stressful.
It is stressful, but is it exciting? It has to be exciting, you know. It has to be
Yeah.
exciting. I think it is also exciting. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So, but then we're saying all of this, and I mean, that's nice to know. That helps us to, I mean, start off and know exactly what we are looking into. So then, with all the things we have said, it is exciting, challenging, demanding, Herculean task, you know, and all of that. What is the biggest barrier to managing results? To managing for results? What's the biggest barrier? What do you think? Okay, we have been HR practitioners, we have been working with people, we have been managing people. I mean, we are leaders in our various organizations, as it were, strategic thinkers, as it were. What is that one biggest barrier? Just the biggest barrier that you think? The biggest barrier in managing people for results. What will it be for any one of us? Yes, quickly, what will it be? Just one thing, one barrier that you can think of that makes it complex, that makes it a Herculean task, that makes it demanding, that makes it overwhelming. What's that one barrier? You know, what's that one barrier?
Communication.
Individual differences.
Lack of understanding.
Yeah, individual differences.
differences.
Attitudes.
Hello,
To me,
I've
my
heard
Communication.
hello, let's take it one after the other. I've heard communication.
okay, to me, it's
Individual differences.
I have heard individual differences, yes. What else?
Lack of understanding.
Lack of what?
Understanding.
Lack of understanding. Thank you very much, ma. Lack of understanding.
Knowledge gap.
Knowledge gap. Beautiful. Knowledge gap.
Lack of
Yes.
effective communication.
No
Lack
enabling
of effective
environment.
Lack of
communication.
extensive communication. Okay.
Effective communication.
Lack of extensive communication. Okay.
Inability to implement policies.
Inability to implement policy. Okay.
No enabling environment.
No enabling environment. Fantastic. Very good. Very good. Very good. You have nailed this presentation. I should just go home and sleep. Anyhow, let's see what more we can do together. This is very interesting. So, but you see, managing people for results. Some of the problems and challenges that we may be looking at, that we have been experiencing, could also, in addition to what we have said, could also include lack of clarity. That's one key foundation of managing people for results. Sometimes people don't actually know what you expect, what is expected from them. Ambiguous objectives. Lack of clarity may be one of the things we are looking at. When they know what to do they even have the capabilities to do what we expect them to do? That's another thing. So we may be looking at a lack of capability. We may be looking at lack of accountability. Somebody just said, inadequate implementation of policy. What is that? It's lack of accountability. People are not accountable. They take responsibilities, but they are not accountable. And generally, in the world we live in the world of HR, responsibility comes with a very high measure of accountability. How many people are accountable for their responsibility? And then, of course, the issue of motivation. A lot of people come to work, but are they motivated to actually get the job done? And we'll talk about the system and process issues. So let's continue and let's see what actually is managing people for results. When we're talking about managing people for results, what are we talking about? Now, managing people for results is the deliberate process of aligning people, performance, and organizational goals so that individuals and teams consistently deliver measurable outcomes. In every organization where we are, at the beginning of every year, we roll out our annual work plan. We talk about our team plans. We talk about individual plans, schedules of duties, and all of that. And as much as possible, deliberate efforts are made to ensure that people actually achieve the right results. In the various teams that we're in the various departments where we find ourselves, there are duties, tasks, and tasks that have been assigned to each and everyone that we work with, every member of our teams. Now, the question now is, How well aligned are people, one, to achieving goals, and on the long run, aligning our collective goals to the overall objectives of the organization. These are the issues we are looking at when it comes to managing people for results. The deliberate processes that we engage to align people, one, align performance, as well as organizational goals. We always say that whatever initiative, whatever we are doing, whatever efforts we want to put in terms of managing people, in terms of delineating tasks, in terms of engaging people to deliver on their tasks and goals, must always be aligned to the corporate organizational goal, because that is where we get our work plans, that's where we get our business plans, and a whole number of things that's where the critical success factors come from for all of us. So, of course, managing people for results simply means that everyone, the people, the performance, the work itself, are all aligned to corporate organizational goals, so that teams and individuals can consistently deliver measurable outcomes. Of course, it shifts leadership. Managing people for results is a complete shift of leadership from just managing activities to managing performance, behaviors, and value creation. Now, when we're talking about the barriers, we talk about communication, we talk about maybe lack of clarity and a whole number of things like that. But you see, the important thing here is that when it comes to managing people for results, it goes beyond just policing people to get the job done. It goes beyond managing the activities, the HR activities that, as it were. We are looking at consistently managing performance. Somebody mentioned attitude as one of the hindrances to, or barriers to managing people. Consistently managing behaviors, consistently managing the way people work. We are not just looking at the activities, because we've already started with, the essence is, we have goals to achieve. There are assignments to be done, aligned to a particular goal that we must all achieve. So managing people for results ensures that leadership shifts from managing activities to managing performance, behaviors, and value creation. Essentially, in the era where we are in, HR is no longer judged by processes, all the HR processes of recruitment, talent management, onboarding, learning and development, and employee engagement. Those are all the HR processes. Employee empowerment, yes, beautiful processes, as it were. But you see, the current situation right now is not just those processes that we are managing. The current thing we are looking at, the current shift right now, is the results that HR is able to deliver through people. So essentially, HR professionals are expected to translate people's strategy into measurable performances and results through structured diagnosis, accountability, and results-driven HR interventions. Managing people for results is not about acquiring HR fundamentals right now. It's about reframing HR's role as results architects. We all know what architects do. They plan, they design, they oversee the construction of a building right from scratch onto the very end. In the same way, that is what HR professionals are. We are architects in our various fields, in our various organizations. What do we really do? Essentially, we are saying that managing people for results is all about turning talent into performance, potentials into outcomes. It focuses on aligning team strengths with organizational goals, like we have said. It inspires, motivates, and empowers people to deliver at their very best. And of course, managing people for results will enable HR professionals to drive accountability, engagement, and measurable results. Of course, the question is no longer whether HR can manage people. It is whether HR can translate people's strategy into measurable organizational results. So, when we're talking about managing people for results, what exactly do we mean? It is a set of practices focused on leading, developing, and supporting employees in a manner that ensures that individual efforts align with and contribute significantly to overall organizational goals and tangible outcomes, what you call impacts. When there are goals and objectives have been assigned and tasks have been assigned and these performance have been enacted, we expect high impact outcomes. Okay, so, but then in looking at managing people for results, what are the building blocks that we need to consider? The first amongst all of these is what we call clarity. Clarity of purpose, clarity of task. People must know what to deliver and why it matters. They must understand what is expected of them. When we set our goals, they must be clear. Goals must be clearly defined with timelines, expectations, without any form of ambiguity. You know, we always talk about setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. We also need to make our goals exciting and rewarding. But the issue of clarity cannot be overemphasized. People must know, employees must know what to deliver and why it matters. Clarity. That's the first building block we're looking at this evening. Another thing is the issue of capability. You know, it's one thing to know what to do. It's another thing to have the requisite skills, the tools, the necessary support, the enabling environment, like one of us mentioned earlier on, to actually deliver on the tasks that you have been assigned. So people need to have the requisite skills, the necessary tools, the enabling environment, the enabling support from supervisors, from colleagues around them, even the resources that they need to discharge the tasks that have been assigned to them. Then the issue of ownership comes in. People must feel accountable for outcomes and not just the task. Essentially, people need to own the processes. I mean, you must be, a sense of responsibility, like I said, must also be matched with an equal accountability. When task has been assigned to people, there must be some sense of ownership that, oh, this is my duty. I am obliged to do this with requisite outcomes over a period of time. And of course, aligning every action to business goals. That is where the issue of alignment comes in. Everyone's actions, team actions, individual actions must connect to business goals, because that's where it begins from. That's the rallying point, the business goals. Everybody in every organization, from the chief executive to the security man at the gates, we are all working towards one goal, the goals of the organization. As such, every action, every task, every performance, every activity must be aligned to business goals. We must perform our duties in alignment with business goals, ensuring that these goals are met within the stipulated period of time that is allotted to each of those tasks. And then, of course, as we perform our duties, the need for feedback cannot be overemphasized. Feedback to the employers, to feedback to employees, feedback from supervisors. Performance conversation loops must be continuous and must be safe for a meaningful results to be achieved. So we have looked at the building blocks, the foundation that enables us to manage people for tangible results. And this includes first, clarity, capability, ownership, alignment, and feedback. Are we good to go? Hello? Are we together? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can
We are
I
together.
continue?
We are together.
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody is writing on the screen.
Yeah, we are good to go.
Screen.
We are together.
Okay.
Yes, we are good to go.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good to go, yes.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, so.
But please, who is what?
Okay, so but when we talk about managing people for results, why does it even matter? Why are we talking about it? Why is it important at this point in time?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, please, somebody is writing on the screen of the presentation. So the person should please stop writing on the screen because it's disturbing others from seeing what you are talking about.
Please, who is writing?
You should just stop. It has left the screen now, but you should just stop writing.
Oh, okay. Somebody was writing before.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but has it stopped now?
Yes, it's gone now. But they should stop
please.
it.
Oh, thank you for that observation.
Yeah.
Please, let's all do this together. Let's not write on the screen so that everybody can see properly. Thank you. Are we okay now? Can I continue? Can we continue together? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Why is it important that we talk about managing for results? Why does it matter? It matters because, yes, every employee makes efforts, but these efforts may not end up in the requisite results. So we are saying that high efforts may not be equal to high results. You know, it's a situation of the expected performance, the actual performance, and then the gap between the actual and the ideal performance. So yeah, everybody works. Everybody, every employee gets to work in an organization. Each and every employee are assigned schedules of duties in an organization. And there are high expectations that everyone should be able to deliver on their schedule of duties. But the question is, how many employees actually deliver on those expectations as expected? And that's why there's always a yearning gap between the ideal situation, which is everybody, we all expect 100% performance. But is that actually always the situation? The answer is no. And that's why you look at, there's an actual performance and there is an ideal performance. Between the ideal and the actual, there's always a gap. The gap is the problem. And then you begin to ask all the questions, why the gap? You want to do a root cause analysis, you want to check, you want to brainstorm, you want to find out why there is a gap. And that is the issue. Yes, efforts may be high, but do high efforts result in high results? Do they give us high results? The answer may not always be the same. High efforts may not always be equal to high results. So what is the role of HR in all of this then? HR's role is therefore to enable performance, not just to manage or police compliance. Now, strategic HR impacts organizational outcomes. When you say you are strategic, what does that mean? It simply means that you have identified long-term and overall goals, aims and objectives, and then you are putting in necessary steps and putting the necessary strategies that will give you the expected results. What do you need? The means. They say the end justifies the means. So what are those means, that will justify the end when it comes to achieving results? What are the enabling environment? What will enable performance in your own organization? What resources do you need to put in place? That's what when we're talking about strategic HR, that's what we're looking at. What are the things you need to do? We always start with the end in mind, what we intend to achieve, okay? The overall expectation. So every step we now take is geared towards ensuring that the goals are achieved. What are the building blocks we need to put in? What are the efforts, what are the resources we need to make available? What support are we expected to provide to our employees? One, and then in the various departments, in the various units and sections where we work in the organization, what synergy, what level of collaboration, what level of interdependence do we need to have? A situation where somebody's output becomes the input of another team or another department. How do we manage those situations? How do we manage those connections to ensure that strategic HR impacts organizational outcomes? These are what we are talking about. HR's role is enabling performance. So of course, busy people don't give productive results. That people are busy necessarily does not mean that their results are productive. So HR systems and accountability should drive outcomes. Look at what I have here. From frazzled to focused, busy versus productive. Yes, people may be busy, and they focus on non-important tasks or urgent tasks. They are busy, quite all right. But when people are productive, they focus on important goals, not just urgent tasks. You know, there's this Eisenhower matrix that talks about urgent and important. I mean, there are 4 quadrants where you fix in urgent and important task, urgent but not important, important but not urgent, not important, not urgent. That is what we are talking about. Now, for people who are busy, they focus on unimportant tasks. They are not important, as you can see, but the productive one will focus on important goals. They may not just, yes, they are urgent, they are important, and that is what gives us the productivity and the results that we experience, that we are expecting. Of course, productive people proactively plan and avoid crisis. However, busy people they react to every crisis that they see. When you are productive, you have a clear vision. A busy person lacks clear direction. Busy people chase every shiny object. Productive people seize strategic opportunities. Busy people get trapped in negativity. Productive people inspire with a positive outlook. Busy people serve their self-interest, but productive people serve the team's success. Now, the question is, are you productive or just busy? Are you productive or just busy? This question may not be for us per se as HR professionals or HR practitioners. So the question is, the employees in our team members, as HR strategists, can we begin to ask the question or begin to look out for the answers to, are they busy or productive? Are they just busy? Of course, expending efforts without requisite results. So if they are productive, it means they are focused on work, they work smarter, they prioritize outcomes, they are fueled by purpose, they work for specific goals, and then they take single tasks and deep work, and most of the time they are relaxed, getting the right results within the right time, and of course with every resource that is available to them put to use. Now, when people are busy, you see that they are frantic. Yes, they work very hard, but they don't work smart. So we are in the world right now. The question is, should you work hard or work smart? The answer is working smart. Yes, it's good to work hard, but people who work smart will get to their destination than people who are just working hard. Smarter, not just hard, is the order of the day, as it were. And of course, busy people, they don't prioritize outcomes. They only prioritize tasks over results. They are fueled by perfectionism. They pursue vague goals. And of course, they multitask. And the work is shallow and they are rushed. So the question from this slide, back to when we get back to our various teams, is to look out for the fact that people may be busy, but are they productive? What do you want them to be? Do you want your employees to be busy, or do you want them to be productive? On the long run, I think it is better to be productive. Yes, busy as it were, but then we're talking about managing people for results. Results is what matters. It's not just about the performance, but getting the right results that actually adds up and culminates in what you call organizational goal achievement. Results-driven outcomes. That is what we are talking about. So, having said that, we are still talking about why does it matter? The era we are in the world of work of today, there is a paradigm shift from activity to outcome focus. We are no longer focusing on activities in the workplace of today. In the workplace of today with multi-generational workforce, the focus is no longer on activities, but on outcomes, on results that drive sustainability within the organizational environment, on results that says that yes, KPIs are being achieved, key result areas are being achieved, and of course, the organization is making steady progress, and of course, there is business urgency for performance. This is another thing that we're looking at. These are the reasons why it matters. And in the era where we are, there are new expectations. For human resource practitioners, they are not just monitoring performance, they are not just policing accomplishments, but human resource practitioners are now strategic enablers. Human resource professionals are expected to be strategic enablers in the workplace of today. Enable the right results, create the conducive environment, deploy the right resources. And as much as possible, the business urgency for performance cannot be overemphasized. And this is why we are talking about managing people for results. So having said that, let's look at the key aspects of managing people for results. Now, the first thing we are seeing here is the need to set clear and aligned expectations. Setting clear and aligned expectations. And then, of course, the need to build capability, ensuring that people have requisite skills, they have access to the needed tools to get their job done, and the right mindset of resilience, of adaptability, of agility. These are the qualities we now look for in the workplace of today. So we need to build employee capability effectively. It is one thing to have to know what to do, like we have said, clarity, yes. But it's another thing to have the capability to deliver on the task that employees have been asked to deliver on. Then, of course, another aspect that is key is the need to drive accountability and ownership. Of course, as leaders in the HR profession, we must lead through motivation and engagement. And then we are in the AI era. Data and AI are changing the landscape. They are changing the HR and L&D landscape like never before right now. People will say now that data is the fuel and AI is the refinery. So as much as possible, data is the oil and AI is the refinery. As much as possible, the need for HR practitioners to use data effectively for decision making, to manage performance, and all other HR functions cannot be overemphasized. We're in an era where we are advised, we are encouraged, we are admonished as HR professionals to do what you have, to deliver what you call AI-enabled HR functions. AI is an enabler. AI will support and assist you to deliver more effectively and more efficiently on your HR functions. So, using data to manage performance. Now, if we look at the results management cycle, the first thing we are seeing there is that we need to set direction. As HR professionals, we need to set direction. What is the direction for the organization? Usually that begins by the time you sit down, maybe towards the end of the year, you're talking about, okay, what will be our direction in the coming year? What are we going to be looking at? Maybe you come together, share insights, share ideas, and then you come up with a strategic direction. This is where we draw our strategic plan from. A strategic framework, strategic organizational plan, business plan, annual work plan, AWP. And then, of course, by the time all of that is done, we begin to talk about dissemination of the plan. Each team, each department, each unit is assigned their plan, aligned to the strategic direction of the organization over a particular period of time. And then, of course, you plan the work. Okay, this is what we expect of you. Plan your work. Each unit, department, sections goes back to their various teams and departments, sit with their team members to begin to plan their work. And that is when you assign schedule of duties to various officers within your team, everybody knows what to do. Then Once the job is work is planned, next thing is to execute. As execution is ongoing, the need for effective monitoring to ensure that executions are aligned to the strategic direction cannot be overemphasized. We call it tracking. You track progress. Are we getting it right? This is where the issue of the KPI is coming. What are the key performance indicators? What shows that we're actually getting the right results? Which areas are our key result areas? Where lies our critical success factors? All of this will come as a result of effective monitoring and progress tracking. And this is all necessary because we need to be able to evaluate at each of the stages of this result management cycle. The need for evaluation cannot be overemphasized. Evaluation lets you know whether you are in the right direction or not. When you evaluate also, it gives you feedback and enables you to improve. Throws up the needs for continuous and never-ending improvement. That is what evaluation does. Your Mr. Carney, continuous and never-ending improvement that comes as a result of constant and continuous evaluation. So this is the results management cycle. Having said that, I want us to take those key aspects one after the other and look into them. Let's dive into them one after the other and see what we need to do. How do we set clear and aligned expectations? How do we build, what tools we need to use to build capability? What structure, what framework can we even use to set clear and aligned expectations? And how do we drive accountability and ownership and lead to motivation and engagement? Let's look at this in the next slides. Now, set clear, aligned expectations. Like we have all agreed, people can only deliver what they understand. So essentially, the clarity is important, can no longer be overemphasized. Our goals must be clear and smart goals. The importance of clarity, setting smart goals, and then balancing short-term and long-term objectives. There's what you call the quick wins, right? And then you have the long-term wins, you have the medium-term wins. What are the quick wins that you have set in place? What are the things you need to quickly see? The results you need to quickly achieve. That will say, oh yes, we're getting the right results. So you must be able to balance all of those things, your short-term and long-term objectives. As much as possible, aligning individual goals with team goals, like we said, and team goals with organizational goals becomes very expedient. And the power of cascading our goals. Ensuring that goals are understood. You pass them down, okay, from management, from leadership to management to supervisors to line managers to, cascade the goals. Let everyone see themselves as part and parcel of this goal. Let everyone see the role they need to play in achieving the goals of the organization. Let it be a we and not a them. We are all involved. All hands are, I don't like saying all hands, put your hands on the deck. Because if people's hands are on the deck, possibility are they might slip off and fall inside the sea. But you see, when hands are in the works, everyone is involved. People have one thing or the other that they are engaging at every point in time. Effective engagement, effective empowerment, of course, to ensure that the right results are derived for everything. And of course, we must, as much as possible, avoid goal overload. So this is expedient as we define team goals and objectives. So for a simple alignment and clarity framework, there is this what, how, and why framework that we can utilize to decide the what in setting clear goals, the how the task should be performed, and why it matters. Why should it be done? How should it be done? What is it that the employee should do? It is a framework that we are going to be looking at in a very short while on how to set clear and aligned expectations. As much as possible, When our goals are clear, we can also translate organizational goals into team goals and confirm understanding. Don't assume that clarity means agreement. No. Even when people have clarity about what needs to be done, there is the need for them to know the how, the understanding, have an understanding of how it should be done and why it needs to be done, the timelines, the KPIs that actually shows that, okay, these are the tasks that have been assigned. This is what is expected. What are the expectations? Employees should know the expectations on every task that has been assigned to them. So let's look at the clarity framework and how it actually works. So the what are the goals. And what are we saying here? Expectations should be defined in simple terms. Essentially, I'm asking an employee to improve customer relations within the next 30 days. How? Maybe by setting up a customer feedback system. That is what I want him to do. Improve customer relations within the next 30 days. How is he going to do it? Set up a customer feedback system. When will he do it? I already said within the next 30 days. So we must be able to define expectations in simple terms. So our what, our how, and our why framework is saying, what are the goals? How do I achieve the goals? What actions do I need to take? What should I do? And for what purpose? Why am I doing what I am doing? So we must define expectations in simple terms. We must align individual goals to organizational goals, and we must confirm understanding. Why is this important? Why is it important that we set clear goals? Why must we set clear goals? One, we want to ensure alignment and adaptability. Like I said, the skills that we need in the workforce of today are what we call agility, adaptability, resilience. These skills are very important. Curiosity, okay? Looking for opportunities to add value at every point in time for every task you are given. These are very important. Then, of course, we talk about clarity and direction. You know, resources in every organization are usually inadequate. And even when they are adequate, the need for optimization of available resources cannot be overemphasized. And that is where the issue of effectiveness and efficiency comes in. When you are effective, you know the right thing and you are doing the right thing. But then when you are efficient, you know the right thing, you are doing the right thing with optimum use of available resources. You know, that is where clarity and direction comes in, so that we can optimize available resources, put the right peg in right holes, and of course, get the right results for every task and every performance. Of course, the issue of performance management comes in. Performance management cycle has 4 key activities. You plan, you act, you track, or what you call monitor, and then you review. It is a cycle. So it's an ongoing process. So for clarity framework to work effectively, it is expected that there must be a performance management system in place to monitor performance. Of course, this is almost similar to what we call the PDCA cycle of the Quality Management System, ISO 9001:2015. PDCA, plan, do, check, and act. Plan, do, check, and act. So essentially, that is what the performance management cycle says. We plan, we act, we track, and we review. These are the functions of HR. Of course, HR does not stand alone in this. And that's where the synergy and collaboration with other departments, units, and divisions come in to ensure effective performance management that gives us the right results at the right time and at the right cost. Effective management, effective and efficient management of resources. Then, of course, motivation and engagement. employees want to be motivated. But I always say that motivation comes from within each and every one of us. We are self-motivated. Something brings us out of our homes to go to work every day. So the fact that we're already there and we're at work is one thing. Another thing is, are we engaged? You know, some employees are engaged. I mean, some are not engaged at all. Some are highly engaged. Some are neither here nor there. So the issue here is motivation and engagement works hand in hand. When you have employees who are highly motivated, they are also highly engaged. These are the ones that are productive and not busy. You know, they do what they can at their very best to ensure that their achievements are aligned to organizational goals. So another thing that makes setting clear goals important is the issue of accountability and responsibility. Like I said earlier on, every responsibility comes with an equal degree of accountability. We are all responsible. Employees are responsible for ensuring the achievement of goals and tasks and objectives as assigned to them. So then, that is where the issue of accountability comes in. What do we measure? Is it the efforts that we measure as HR professionals? Of course not. What we measure is performance. On the long run, when we talk about performance appraisal, what are we looking at? That is the sense of accountability that we're asking of. That's the feedback they get from being accountable. So when we appraise a particular employee, we are saying, okay, we gave you this responsibility. How accountable have you been? That's just the issue, you know? So accountability and responsibility is another reason why we need to set clear goals. And then, of course, the issue of communication and collaboration comes in. Communication is key in everything we do. When there's no communication, when there's a communication breakdown, you see that people are struggling to achieve goals because necessary information are not available. People have not been told what they need to do. Either they have been told or they don't understand, or the right information have not reached the right places for the right results to be achieved. So communication given at the right time, the right information given to the right people to get the right results. Institutional information, communication within units, within departments, synergy and collaboration within interdependency of tasks. All of these make it very important for us to ensure the setting of clear goals and expectations. Are we good to go? Can I continue? Hello, are you still with me? Hello? Are we there?
We're
okay.
Here, ma. Yes,
all right, ma.
Here.
Thank you, ma. Am I good to go? All right. Thank you.
Yes,
you are good to go.
Yes, all right.
You are good to go.
Yes, you are good to go.
You are good to go.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We are with you,
Thank
ma.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. So this is a short exercise. I don't know. Let's quickly see what we can do with this. There's an example here. It says, deliver reports by Friday. Take a look at this. Deliver reports by Friday. And then the next one says, produce a 3-page summary with insights for decision making by Friday, 3 p.m. So which one is more important? Which one is clearer here? We're talking about setting clear expectations, clear goals. Deliver reports by Friday versus produce a 3-page summary with insights for decision making by 3 p.m. on Friday. Which one is more apt here? Which one do we go with? What works for us in terms of what we're talking about now?
Is the second one produce a 3-page summary?
The second one is clear.
The second one. The second one.
The second one is understandable.
Second one, Mike.
So I go for the second one.
The objective is very clear.
Must be specific.
All right, sir.
Because we have to be specific.
Second one is
Yeah, the second one was for specific.
Thank you very much. Now, the second one tells the what, right?
Declarative.
It says the how and the why, isn't it? What? Produce a 3-page summary. How? With insights. Why? For decision making by Friday, 3 p.m. So let's do a quick exercise with this other one now. Improve customer service quickly. Can you rewrite this goal using the what, how, and what, how, why model? Quickly. Just try it. Let's just try it. Try some, just attempt this on your daughter. Let's take 2 minutes to attempt this. We have just said improve customer service quickly. Let's rewrite this goal using the what, how, why model.
Quickly improve customer service.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's a good attempt. Let's try again. Let's have more options now. Use the what, the how, and the why model.
Good evening. We need to improve our customer service in the next 2 weeks to ensure we don't lose out on our customers.
Okay, improve customer service in 3 weeks so that we don't lose our customers. All right, fine. That's a good one. Good attempt. Yes, one more person so that we may progress quickly. Yes, one more person, please. Let's have one more person. One more attempt.
Quickly improve customer service.
If customer service is
Yes, sir. What do you have?
Improve customer service by having training next week, Tuesday.
Increase customer service by what?
By having a training next week, Tuesday.
By having a training next week. Okay, thank you.
We need
thank
to.
you. Yeah, somebody saying something.
Yes, we need to have a delivery ban in order for us not to lose our customers by next week.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you, everyone. Good attempt, good attempt. I know that with practice, we'll get better at it, whereby we can clearly set our goals, plugging them under the what, the how, and the why. So essentially, we can have the... Let's mute now so that we continue. This is an example now, clarity exercise. Improve customer service response time to under 2 minutes on all digital channels. How? By implementing a daily monitoring dashboard and conducting a 15-minute morning stand-up focused on customer tickets. And then, of course, why? So that customer satisfaction scores increase and complaints reduce, supporting retention and brand perception. This is just an example. You know, they say practice makes perfect. So the more we do this, the better we'll get at it. Let's make progress and look at our second key aspect, which is building capability. Building capability. We have looked at setting clear goals and expectations. So let's look at building capability. Results depend on whether people can perform. How do we know if people can perform? We need to conduct a skill and performance diagnostics. Provide learning pathways, not one-off trainings, but continuous and never-ending training. Individualized training, personalized training now. Training-centered, learning paths. Coach on behavior, not just tasks. Ensure tools and resources are not barriers. What are we saying? HR professionals should shift from training delivery to what? Capability consulting. When we have identified skills gaps, what do we do? Essentially, to build capability, we must get to the roots of the gap. Why is there a gap? What is the root cause of this gap? Are we looking at skills gaps? Are we looking at resource gaps? Are we looking at behavior gaps? What kind of gaps have we identified? Depending on the gaps that we have identified, we then need to do what you call performance consulting, which is also an L&D role. That is where the HR and L&D will need to work together to ensure that, well, we have identified some gaps. In some other places, when it is resource gaps, maybe you need to work with the accountants to provide the necessary resources as HR. And that is why HR is the nerve center of every nerve center of every organization. We are at the crux, at the center of the success. We are the enablers of successful organizational goals, as it were. Achievement of success, achievement of organizational goals lies solely on the strategic position of HR. They need to bring everybody together. They need to be the bridge that works with each and every unit within the organization to ensure that proper gaps are identified at the right time and capabilities are built for effective discharge of duties. Having said that, how do we do what you call capability gap diagnosis? Capability gap diagnosis. You know, we always talk about training needs assessment in L&D. Training needs assessment. That's what we do in L&D. You can do training needs assessment on the individual level, on the occupational level, and on the organizational level. But capability diagnosis is going beyond just the training needs assessment. We're looking at the skill. What skill are missing? What do we need to do? So let's look at using what you call the skill wheel matrix here now. It's called the skill wheel matrix framework. How do we even apply that? What is capability gap diagnosis itself? Capability gap diagnosis is a systematic process for identifying the difference between the performance the organization requires and the current capability of its people to deliver those results. Yes, the target this year in a car factory is that we produce 200 cars before the end of the year. That was the target at the beginning of the year. But then suddenly, the third quarter is almost ending and we have only produced 50 cars. And the question is, what went wrong? By now, we are at the end of the third quarter. We should have gone beyond this. Only 50 out of 200? No. Then we begin to ask questions. Is this a skills gap? Don't they have the right resources to do the job? Do they, is it that, you begin to ask all the questions. What could be the reason for the performance gap? Because there's a performance gap of almost 150. Okay, since it is about 200, it's 200 from the annual target is 200. That means that on a quarterly basis, we are looking at 50-50. Quarter 1, 50, quarter 2, 50, quarter 3, 50, quarter 4, 50. That makes 200. That is in an ideal situation. Now, but the actual is saying that by the end of the third quarter, we are only at 50. Oh, everybody is on the target and wondering why we are not meeting our targets. So you begin to ask questions. You conduct what you call a diagnosis. You want to see, is it a skills gap? Is it a performance gap? A resource gap? What is the problem? You want to get to the root. So essentially, what do? You examine what results are expected. Look at what capabilities exist and what is missing. Is this a skills problem, a knowledge behavior? A knowledge problem, an attitude problem? Is it a motivation thing where you talk about the will? So that targeted interventions can be applied. So essentially, the skill wheel matrix framework looks at the skill and the will of your employees. And in simple terms, it is asking the questions. Why are we not getting the results we expected? And what exactly needs to change? Do we have the right skill? If they have the right skill, do we have the right will? Are employees displaying the right will to get the job done? So you are looking at something like this. Okay? You have the star performer who has the high skill and the high will. For this kind of employee, you delegate, you empower, you coach for growth, you recognize achievements. Then you have the one that is undermotivated. Yes, He has the skill, but he has a very low will. He comes to work, yes. He's punctual at work. He comes to work regularly, he doesn't come late. But the issue is, does he work? You know, there's a difference between attendance and punctuality. When you come to work on time, yes, that is punctuality. Then, but when you have the right will to get the job done, that is what we call attendance. You are at work, you came to work, and you are getting the job done. So when an employee has an high skill and the will is low, what do? You coach, you inspire, you set clear expectations, you link work to purpose, and you provide incentives to make this person to work. You do what you call encouragement. You encourage this person. You ginger, using that word. Motivate this person, the undermotivated employee. Yes, he has a skill, but he has a low will. Do we do away with him? Well, you can motivate him. You can coach, you can inspire to ensure that this person gets the job done. Then you have the ones that are learners. Their skills are low, but they have very high will. Oftentimes you experience this with people that are just coming in, the new employees. Yes, some of them are very high wills, but the skills are very low because they are just coming into a new environment. So what do we need to do? We train, we guide, we provide the necessary resources and attach them to coaches and mentors on the job who we put them to and ensure that their skills are enhanced. And then you have the ones that are underperformers. These ones, their skills are low. The will is low. What do we do with these ones? Diagnose the root causes. Consider role fits. Are they in the right roles? Do you need to rotate their jobs? Do you need to swap their roles? The present role where they are now, is it a round peg in a square hole for them? Do you need to rotate? Take them on, put them on another job and watch whether there will be some differences, and then provide some structural support and closely monitor performance. Having said this, let's look a little further at this skill will matrix and see what we can do. So this is the capability diagnosis process with an example. And it's an HR issue here. And it is that people are not meeting KPIs. Key performance indicators are not being met. Targets are not being met. Profit is dwindling and management is complaining. What should HR do? The question is, do the employees know what is expected? Do they have the right skill of capability? And is there an enabling environment? Is the environment enabling? Do we have the resources? So, for us to do this capability gap diagnosis, these are the steps. Number one, clarify required results. Sit with employees. Find out, do they actually understand what needs to be done? Define goals and performance outcomes. Renew, review, realign as much as possible. Encourage people. Okay, what is the issue? Why are we not meeting our targets? What is going on here? Management expects results and we are not getting it. This is affecting bottom line. Sit down and clarify results, required results. And then define required capabilities in terms of skills, knowledge, and attitude, or what you call behaviors. Our KSA, knowledge, skill, and attitude, or the ASK, attitude, skills, knowledge. Define the required capabilities for result-oriented job performance. Yes, some people may have the skill and they don't have the will. Do what you need to do. Some have the will and they don't have the skill. Train them. The ones that have the skill and they don't have the will, motivate them. Define required capabilities. And then assess your current capability. Okay, these are XYZ skills are needed. In the car production factory, we just discovered that the reason why we have only produced 50 cars at the end of the third quarter It's because a particular machine equipment has broken down, and they had ordered because there is a particular part that became obsolete, and that particular part was ordered from Italy, and up to this moment we are still waiting for the part to arrive. What can we do? Local content. Is there anywhere we can quickly, things that we really need to do? Okay, that is for an equipment. What about the skills of the employees themselves? We just learned that there's a new technique that car manufacturers are now putting to use, particularly where it concerns the rear lights and the headlamps. And in our own factory, we do not have this technique. It turns out that the head of the production unit is new on the job and does not know how to use this technique. What do? We train. So let's get to the root of the problem. Assess current capability, identify capability gaps. Or is it that the resources are not adequate? We are short in supply of the parts that we need to get the job done. Let's identify capability gaps. Let's assess current capability. When we assess current capability, we evaluate current skills and motivation. When we identify capability gaps, we compare capabilities that we have now in tandem with the ones that are needed. You build capabilities where it is necessary. And as much as possible, what do we need to do? We select targeted interventions. Either we are planning training, we are providing support, or we are providing motivation. As much as possible, all we are interested in is performance improvement measures that will bring about the achievement of corporate goals. In all of these, we must monitor impact and ensure that we clarify our results. So essentially, this is what we are saying: clarify required results, confirm required capabilities, assess current capabilities, identify capability gaps, and then, of course, in your reassessment, select targeted interventions. So this is what we do. This is the step-by-step process for capability gap diagnosis. HR professionals in the house, I hope we are good. This is the application of the skill wheel matrix. So essentially, this is it. So when you have a high skill, an employee who has high skills but has low wheels, this person is the person you call a reluctant contributor. Experienced but disengaged. They may need motivation or new challenges. Peradventure, the current role, he has been on that role for over 10 years and is no longer challenging. So he's a reluctant contributor. It's like, I've been doing the same thing for the past 10 years, so he's no longer motivated. Change roles. Change job roles. Take this round peg, put him in another round peg, and see the effect of that. And then when you have a high-skill employee with a high will, these are the high performance, the top talents within the organization. These are the ones that get the results. These are the 20% that give us the 80% of results, the 20-80 Pareto principle. These are the 20% that give us the 80% of results in our various organizations. What do we need to do? Challenge them the more, reward their performance, and then as much as possible, retain these top talents. Then, of course, you have the ones that have low skills, but they have very high will. These are the potential talents. They are eager, but inexperienced. What do they need? They require to be trained, and they need mentorship. Please provide that to make sure that they get the right thing done. And then, of course, you have the low skill and the low will. The underachievers, lacking skills and motivation. They need support and close supervision. On the long run, in all of this, what we are saying is that to properly apply the skill wheel matrix, we must engage employees, empower employees, provide the necessary support, and develop when the need arises. Train, motivate, engage, reward, as much as possible, supervise, provide the necessary support, mentor and coach employees to build up and build the necessary capabilities that is needed to achieve the right results. Let's, however, note that capability gaps are not always skill problems. They are often clarity, leadership, or motivation problems. So, as much as possible, we need to know that to prevent, for proper diagnosis, we must ensure that we do proper diagnosis to prevent costly misinterventions. If the diagnoses are not properly done, if the capability gap diagnosis is erroneous, then we may introduce the wrong interventions and it will be money down the drain. So as much as possible, the need for us to ensure that we apply the skill wheel matrix appropriately to do an apt and result-oriented capability gap diagnosis becomes very essential for all of us as HR professionals. So I hope we are good to go on this. Can I continue? Hello? Are we still there?
Yes, ma, we can hear you.
Yes, ma.
Okay, so we have
Continue.
looked at the what?
Continue.
Yes, we are.
Please
Yes,
continue.
we are here.
We are here.
Okay, sir. So we have looked at the what, how, and why model. We have looked at the skill wheel matrix for capability gap diagnosis, the what, how, and why model for setting clear goals and expectations. So we will make progress now. And that is, we'll be looking at driving accountability and ownership using the AOR model. Driving accountability and ownership using the AOR model. Now, accountability grows when people participate in goal setting, receive timely feedback, understand the consequences, whether positive or negative, of their actions and their performance goals, and then, of course, they feel psychologically safe to report challenges. The AOR model is a strategic HR tool. A stands for assignments. There are two of the models that we're going to be using, in synonymously. Now, unanimously, we have A for assignments, we have A for alignments in another case, we have O for ownership. In another model, O may also mean orientation, but the R is constant. So synonymously, we are going to be looking at the assignment ownership results model, alignment orientation results model, because these two models are all talking about clarity, commitment, and performance when it comes to driving accountability and ownership. So assignments, what we are saying is that ensure that we assign clear task or goal. Ownership, personal responsibility, like we said, and then results, measurable outcomes. Now, this is the model. Let's start with the, can we see, are you seeing my screen? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, AOR model, where A is assignments. Overarching there, you will see the arrow says what? Assign tasks. What do we do under that assignment? We must set clear objectives, ensure task clarity, and then we must delegate and ensure accountability. There must be delegation and accountability. Assign task. Then when we assign tasks, what are we looking at? Take initiative. That is under ownership. Assign task, take initiative, and do what? Achieve outcomes. You see the way the arrow is going. Assign task, take initiative. When you are taking initiative, what have you become? You have become the owner of that task. You have become the owner of that initiative. And then there we are talking about what? Ownership. Under ownership, what are we looking at? Responsibility, empowerment. We're looking at responsibility, empowerment, and of course, we are talking about what? Physical, personal commitment. Personal commitment to every initiative, to every activity, to every task that the employee has been assigned. And then, of course, we can see the arrows now going both ways. Achieve outcomes. When you have been given assignments, achieve outcomes, give results. When you have taken initiative, achieve outcomes. So what is result saying? Results talking about high performance, productivity, and what? Successful outcomes. Now, when we look at this in the context of alignment, orientation, and results, don't forget, we have said that every goal, individual goals, team goals, departmental goals, must be aligned to what? Overall organizational goals. So under alignment, we are still talking about clear goals, shared vision, okay, organizational strategy, because that's where it all begins. Aligning every goal, every strategy, every performance of activity, every performance of task to overall organizational goals. And then, of course, when our objectives are aligned, this will guide actions. Proper orientation, roles and responsibilities are well defined. There are when there are skills gap, proper training are deployed to bridge the gaps. And of course, there's what you call team dynamics. Team work together, team orientation, team dynamics to ensure that the right results, everybody in a team know their roles and their responsibilities, and they play them accordingly to achieve the right results, the right outcomes. Under results, we're still looking at high performance, productivity, and successful outcomes. So let's look at how this works. So we are saying that under assignments, what do we need to do? Define the work clearly. What needs to be delivered? How success will be measured? What is the duration? When is it due? When is this assignment due for submission? When do you want this task completed? Let it be clear from the very onset. Provide the necessary resources and give available support. Make sure the necessary resources are available and provide necessary reports. Let employees know why it matters. Don't forget our what, our how, and why. Let them know why it matters. Then when it talks about, when we are talking about ownership, what are we saying? Individual employees must own their process. That means we are building personal responsibility, commitment to actions and timelines. We are encouraging proactive communication between supervisors and every member of the team, between the team members themselves, from within contemporaries, and of course, interdepartmental communication, proactive communication that discovers any risk and quickly escalates. Oh, we are suspecting that this may not work. Oh, can we quickly do something else? Can we bring in an alternative plan to ensure that we get the right results? This can only happen when there is effective and proactive communication. And then, of course, continuous problem solving. Okay? What are we talking about when we look at the results? Measure the actual delivery. Assess outcomes, not activities. Compare goals to KPIs. What are the key performance indicators? Compare to the goals that are being achieved. Let's make necessary comparison and then capture the lessons. What gaps have you identified? Let there be necessary improvements. And then it's a continuous thing. The more we learn, the more we improve, the better we get at what we do. So, putting the two together, assignment, alignment, depicts strategic clarity, role clarity, and goal alignment. Under goal alignment, don't forget our what, how, and why model. Then, when we are looking at ownership and orientation, we are looking at psychological ownership. Like we said, employees must be responsible. There must be a sense of responsibility that comes with an equal sense of accountability. So, ownership, accountability culture, and of course, manager capability. On the long run, we should be able to measure outcomes when it comes to results. There must be evidence-based performance, tangible results, tangible outcomes, okay? And then, of course, there must be consequences and rewards. Nobody should be, at the point where we are in the workplace right now, every employee should know where they stand. Are you doing the right thing? If you are doing the right thing, there are rewards for that. If you are getting the right results, there are rewards for that, which must be communicated and made known. And when people are not getting the right results for one reason or the other, there must be consequences, which must also be well communicated. So essentially, the AOR model, in essence, is saying that when it comes to assignment and alignment, we must set clear goals, define roles, and there must be priorities. Under this, what should be the role of HR? Job design when it comes to assignment and alignment, goal clarity, and of course, performance agreements. When it comes to ownership and orientation, we're talking about psychological commitment. That means a high sense of responsibility that should also come with accountability. And HR must ensure effective performance culture. HR must manage capability, and HR must put in place proper feedback systems that quickly escalates and any triggers that things may go wrong. Feedback system that quickly escalates, hey, there's a red flag here. Let's do something about it. Feedback systems must give us such triggers so that we can quickly reinvent, review, and then, of course, ensure that all other processes work effectively to give the right results. And for the R, that talks about measurable outcomes and not intentions. HR must ensure the establishment of proper the design, development, and implementation of SMART KPIs. SMART KPIs, key performance indicators. Appraisal systems must be transparent. There must be rewards and there must be consequences as much as possible. The HR insight here is this: if results are missing, HR should ask which part of A, O, or R is broken. Essentially, this is how we apply the AOR model for driving accountability and results. So, what are the challenges HR face when we deploy the AOR model? One is the design and of vague KPIs that are not smart. So we need to be wary of designing such. As much as possible, let's make our key performance indicators smart. Of course, cascading goals that do not translate into execution. For ownership and orientation, appraisals without consequence, training without behavioral change. Okay? And then, of course, under R, which is the result, rewarding compliance instead of impact. We have already agreed. HR is no longer policing compliance, but we are ensuring strategic outcomes. So, as much as possible, when results are not coming the way they should, when we are not getting the right results, it should not be about the system. As much as possible, AOR should be looked into. We should find out what it is that is going on, and then we get the right. Now, what are HR levers that drive or key results? One, like we have said, performance management systems, learning and capability frameworks, reward and recognition, manager enablement, and of course, culture and accountability signals. Ladies and gentlemen, HR systems speak louder than HR policies. So, which HR process in your organization currently encourages activity rather than outcomes? Please, I want us to take that as an assignment. Look at your own organization. Which of your HR processes right now is just encouraging activity and is not giving you the right outcomes? Apply all the frameworks that we have looked at and get the results. Let us now begin to rethink managing people for results. Let's look at a mindset shift of, like we said, resilience, agility, and adaptability. We have already established that managing people is not the same as supervising behavior. Managing people simply means designing conditions for performance. Traditional HR talks about compliance, process, and support. Right now, strategic HR professionals have become performance architects, like we said. What do? We plan, we design, we oversee, we review, and of course, it's a continuous process. We are now, like we said, in the world where HR are seen as enablers. You are in talent in development, employee support, building culture, driving performance, providing the strategy and the tools, the necessary policies and processes, and of course, ensuring that culture and change champions are established in our various organizations, that HR and professionals become human capital curators, and of course, they become total rewards and stewards of the right performances. This is a short case study for us. I think we can take this away as we round up, and we're just looking at all the things that we have learned. We are going to apply them in this case study. Please, if you can lay your hands on them as you go, kindly do that. So, as we round up, what are the HR skills needed for managing people for results? Strategic alignment. Align HR strategy with business goals. Performance and goal setting. Set clear goals and KPIs. Capability gap diagnosis. Identify skill and weak gaps. Coaching and feedback. Guide performance conversations. HR analytics and data. Use data to drive decisions. Change management. Lead through change. Lead through change and manager enablement. Empower managers to succeed. People performance improves and results follows. In conclusion, managing people for results is not about control. It is about capability, clarity, and accountability. When HR gets this right, results become inevitable. HR's relevance in the next decade will not be judged by how well HR professionals manage people, but by how clearly results are delivered through people. The future of HR is not defined by policies, but by our ability to build capability, enforce accountability, and ensure the achievement of the right organizational results. Essentially, HR professionals in the house this evening, what we're saying to ourselves is that, look, HR is central to today's dynamic workplace, sparking transformation at every level. I don't know. Do we have questions? Questions? Anyone? Questions? Do we have questions? Questions? In the absence of any questions, I want to
I have a question, ma.
Okay, you have a question. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Yes, ma.
Yes, sir.
In an HR organization where you have a kind of unrest, where people don't understand what happens in the company, is there a need for a performance appraisal? Is the difference between performance appraisal and performance management? What's the difference?
Performance management, sir, is that why from the very onset, like we said, the performance management cycle depicts that you plan. When you plan, you act. In planning and acting, at the point where you plan, that's where the issue of work plan comes in. At the time you are acting, that's why execution comes in. You have assigned roles and responsibility. You have given employees schedule of duties. And then when you are tracking, you are monitoring through supervision, through effective performance management system to ensure that they are doing the right thing. Now, performance appraisal is that they are finished. Yes, you are appraising. Performance management is completely, performance appraisal is the very last thing on the performance management cycle. Are you with me, ma? Hello? Hello, ma? Hello?
Can you call me back before? Go
ahead, ma. We can hear you.
I'm a man, ma.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
We
can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Mute.
Can we mute someone that is talking in the background? Thank you.
Okay, by the time you are doing performance appraisal now, we're no longer talking, the performance is already, we're now, and we are assessing. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I have given you responsibility. I'm now grading what you have done. Do you understand now? So performance appraisal is different from performance management. Appraisal is the last thing you do when you have gone through the performance management cycle. An employee's job is completed. It's like, we do what you call annual performance evaluation, isn't it? Some people do 360-degree feedback evaluation. That is where appraisal comes in. Now you are evaluating the performance of this particular employee. But at the point where you are managing performance, at this time you are still encouraging. You are planning, you are acting, you are checking, you are doing, you are planning, you are acting, you are tracking the performances, you are tracking progress. Is this employee working according to plan? Is he achieving the right results? These are all the things you are doing in performance management. By the time you are in appraisal, it's no longer, we are not encouraging anymore. The job is already done. It's like you are grading, you are assessing what the employee has done. So that's where we draw the line. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Ma or sir. Hello. Are we still
Hello,
there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a man, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. I hope I've answered your question, sir.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir, please.
Okay,
Are you
please,
listening to me, ma'am?
Yes,
sir?
thank you for this session. Please, ma'am, I want to find out, you talked about alignment and how everyone's action affects the business goal.
Yes, sir.
Now, how do we as HR professionals manage the action of, say, the CEO and management team in helping achieve the goal of the organization? For instance, by reason of their action, we are having delayed approvals or delayed provision of resources. What advice do you have for us to be able to address that and possibly drive the team towards the result we want? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. As much as possible, sir, the need to use data-driven evidence to show impact is very necessary. Because you see, we need to be able to engage senior leadership, supervisors, and all of those, all the leaders at the top, and embed accountability. I mean, the need to be accountable cannot be overemphasized. So in every role where everyone is, we must be held accountable. And accountability, that we said, comes with responsibility. So when once you are noticing that there is a slack, I mean, or a delay, in achieving results, the need to trace the source to know why the delay, to get to the root cause of the problem, sir, cannot be overemphasized. So as much as possible, they need to work with everyone. We are not going to be, there's no need to blame. Let's not blame. In doing this, let's also look at the AOR. Is it the assignment or the alignment? Is it the ownership or the orientation? Where is the problem? Let's be able to nip the problem in its bud. Let's get to the root of the problem and then find the solution without blaming anyone, but generally encouraging anyone and everyone and providing the enabling environment to get the right results. Hello, sir. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Ma.
Sir?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
I have a contribution.
Okay, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Thank you, sir, for that. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, the AOI, AOR, the second one seems to me to be used when there is a deviation and you want to correct a situation. That is why the issue of alignment and orientation comes in.
Okay, sir. All right, sir. Thank you for that, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I get that, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm sure all of you are tired. It's already after 10. Oh, wow. Where did the time run to? It's past 10.
Yes.
After a hard day's work. Wow, wow. So I think we should just take the last question now. One more question and we round up. Thank you so much. This has been very, very exciting.
Dr. Abanye, Dr. Abba, I'd like to just read a question that has been put on the chat box.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma. All right,
yes,
ma.
we've had two people talk and then let's just have one. The person goes, good evening, ma. How can HR professionals attract top talent in a highly competitive labor market? And how can they adapt their talent strategies to future workplace changes? Let me take it again. How can HR professionals
top talents?
Yes, how can they attract top talent in a highly competitive labor market? And how can they adapt their talent strategies to future workplace changes?
Okay. Let me start from behind, ma. Adapting talent strategies to future workplaces and future work changes. Ma, let me say that the future we are envisaging is already here. And the need for HR to lead with insight, drive innovation, and drive impact in the workplace of now cannot be overemphasized. The future is already here with us. Because you see, we are talking about, earlier on I mentioned the use of ensuring AI-enabled HR. Why are we saying that? Right now in the present workplace, we have 4 generational workforce. That's why we're talking about multi-generational workforce. You have the Gen Z, all the gens, the baby boomers and all of that. Now, you will notice that gradually, the workplace is beginning to embrace what you call technology-enabled discharge of duties. Gone are the days where everybody, we are no longer in the analog era, we are in the digital era. So to attract talent, to attract talent that will top-notch talent means that your organization is AI enabled, your organization is tech savvy, and your organization encourages and motivates growth. Ask the Gen Zs that keep the level of the way they move they jump from one job to the other. Ask them what they are looking for. They are looking for that enabling environment, the organization that gives them the growth-enabled environment, that allows them to express their innovations, that allow them to make their mistakes and grow while learning. So if we want to attract top talents, your organization must be a futuristic organization that has embedded AI, that has encouraged technology in the discharge of your functions. And as much as possible, you will see that tasks are easier done, results are better generated, and everybody works in a safe and enabling environment. I'm sure the paper tomorrow will dwell more on talent attraction, acquisition, and retention. However, I hope the little I've said, I've answered that question too.
Okay, well, I believe the person who asked, you have your answer.
Okay, ma. Okay. Okay.
Well,
thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, everyone. Thank you. I want to say thank you so much for making this a very exciting class. It was quite engaging. Thank you.
Thank you. On this note, I would very, very much, on behalf of the Institute, CIHRM, I would very much like to say a very, very big thank you to you, Dr. Kemi Abaye. You know, we have received in almost 2 hours such, an impactful, insightful, well-explained, rich, and, timely lecture, very practical, very relatable. Thank you so, so much. It's very, very much appreciated. And I'll also like to let us know for our participants, please ensure to fill the attendance form. It's being put on the chat box. It's been put there repeatedly. If you are not able to open the link, please try it on another device, but ensure before this meeting runs out, ensure that you fill the attendance form. So once again, I'd like to say, and really, really on behalf of the Institute, CIHRM, appreciate Dr. Kemi Abaye for tonight's lecture. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. I would also like to appreciate the IT team, the Governing Council, management and staff of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, and of course, the National Project Coordinator in the person of Mrs. Tessie Christopher Ikache. Thank you also very much. We appreciate this. And also to let us know that tomorrow's lecture will start by 8:30 p.m. It will kick off at exactly 8:30 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, the 28th of December. Thank you so much. Tonight's topic has been very enlightening, very rich, which is on managing people for results. Thank you, and a very big thank you. I'd also like to appreciate the Governing Council management of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management for this opportunity and privilege to be the moderator for tonight's lecture. I am once again Olayemi Tomoth, and it's been a privilege to having to do this evening. Thank you also very much. So tomorrow, by the grace of God, 8:30 p.m., we kick off with the lecture for tomorrow. Please let's not forget to ensure to fill the attendance form that is on the chat box. If you're unable to, please try filling the link. Please try the link on another device. So on this note, I'd like to say thank you to all our participants. Thank you also very much for coming on board. And we meet tomorrow by the grace of God. So please allow me on behalf of the Institute to say thank you and good night, everyone. Till tomorrow, by God's grace. Good night, everyone.